2021 has taught me is hard work and perseverance always pays. So I was a little on and off last year with the pandemic and moving across the country like 10,000 miles from my home. So, but I somehow survived. And joining ARO has motivated me in many aspects, personally and professionally. And, like when there was a time when I was not sure what I'm going to do, so I found ARO. So I was really happy that I got a role where I can, contribute more and apply my knowledge and talent.
So what
Thank you.
this year taught me a lot of things. I went through a lot of self-development. So I decided to hire a communication coach. So I read a lot of books. So I've learned a lot about how to improve communication skills. And many things about life in general. Because I took a break from work, and also I'm studying at an academy now, so many things really. And at ARO, for me it's a nice experience because it's the first one in the no-profit industry, so it is definitely different than in a corporate environment. So it's more like family thing. It's like also when it's volunteering, it's like you feel more free to be yourself, which is amazing.
So in my personal life, 2021 has taught me to take more risk. I had dreamed of traveling more for as long as I can remember, and this year I kind of made that a reality. So for those of you who don't know, I'm currently traveling around the United States by van, and I've been on the road since April. And I've been to 18 new states this year, and I've now seen 25 of the 50 states. So just, taking more risk to me just means like not letting fear hold me back from trying something new. So that's something in my personal life that 2021 has taught me. And then professionally, I feel like this year I've learned to follow my passions more. I felt somewhat unfulfilled by my job before finding ARO, and I was looking for a volunteer role for a couple of months. And when I found ARO, I immediately knew that it was just the right fit for me. And just with everything that everyone's working to accomplish with at ARO, and I don't think that there's another organization that would have the same, that I would have the same passion for and connection with, just from my personal experiences with abuse and just being able to work with a really amazing group of people. So thank you to all of you.
I feel like this year has just flown by. I've been super busy just with work and personal stuff as well. But I guess the biggest is time management and being more patient in my life is kind of what I've learned to do this year. I'm very personally and professionally, I want something right now, whether that's job wise or just, going down the street. Like I'm very right now. So just kind of learning to step back a little bit and just, smell the roses, I guess, as they say, is something that I have learned a lot this year.
It seems pretty simple, but it's actually something that I've given as an advice to many of my friends. It's to reach out and talk if you're having trouble with anything. If there's something that's really bothering you, even if it's something even if it's when you're going through something dark, it's reaching out to someone whom you can trust. And I do have people in my life that I trust, but never in my life have I ever really reached out. Even during those dark moments, I've had this instinct to deal with it myself, because for the longest time, that's what I've done. So reaching out is like extremely hard for me. But then this year, I think ARO definitely helped me with that. I think I made my first attempt at reaching out, and for the first time, I did not feel like I was burdening someone by talking to them, because I felt like the person that I was talking to, they could relate to what I was saying. They weren't just listening for the sake of listening and just patting on my back or anything, but they could actually understand what I was saying. And that meant a lot, even though a person cannot offer you solutions, but having someone listen to you, it makes a huge difference, I feel. And for me, it's a huge thing, because I think for me, it's that I struggle with making myself vulnerable because I'm talking about something very personal, So that trust is something, it's a huge step for me. So that's something I'm very proud of. Now, professionally, it would be that the last year I realized that the career that I was, hoping, the career that I was working in is just not for me, and I wanted to change it. But then for me, I was afraid that it just wasn't possible. I mean, I'm just 24, but for some reason I felt like it's too late. You can't learn anything new. For some reason I felt like that. But then, ARO gave me the chance to learn something new, and I realized that, it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're interested in something, and as long as you're determined to learn something, you can do whatever you want. And that was something for me. That's something very special.
I feel like in 2021, I've kind of learned a lot, like in my personal life and work life, by just discovering my passions. And I did a lot of traveling this year. I went out to Washington State and Oregon. I went to an abandoned amusement park. I went to the mountains. I went to the beach. I spent a lot of time with my family. I spent a lot of time with my friends. And I've just been trying to find myself since I graduated college back in May. ARO's taught me a lot about passion and a lot about helping people, and I really enjoy the fulfillment I get from being able to create content and knowing that I'm helping make a difference.
For this year, overall, I think that community was super important to me in both ARO and my personal life. I'm in a military type environment. My husband's in the Navy, and so we moved this year to a new state, and just being able to set up that community right away is super important for me, just to have that support and that community around me. But then when I found ARO as well, I just saw just how much that saying of it takes a village really, really matters. And so I've been in different departments here and there, and it's been super fun to just understand how the nonprofit works and how everyone can work together to make different things happen. And I mean, with Norm Therapy, everyone volunteering their time to do all those different interviews. I mean, it's intense stuff sometimes. So I really appreciate and value the community at ARO.
Just the power of sharing your story and how healing that is, not only for yourself, but to others. And that it's so impactful and very liberating. I've been sharing little bits and snippets and pieces of my story here and there, as on the article on Medium as well. And so, yeah, it's just very powerful. And I'm thankful for that trust and that comfort level and being able to have that platform to be shared on. Professionally, just through kind of mimic what Josie was saying about the collaboration, that together we can do greater things, and there's power in numbers. And so it's been so wonderful just to have that. It doesn't matter who you reach out and what department they're in, everybody's just willing to help and point you in the right direction, and that's been so rewarding and grateful.
So this year, I have learned a lot. I moved at the beginning of this year, and I think that in my personal life, I've really been able to learn about appreciating where I am, even if it's not, where I might have thought I would have been, with, all these changes. But just appreciating the opportunity I have to be at ARO, to be able to volunteer with you guys has been so absolutely incredible. And just all these pieces fit together so that I would be able to be here. So I'm very grateful for that. As far as from a professional standpoint, I've learned so much about being in a management position. I'm so grateful for that I started at ARO in July and was able to move up to a management position in, I think, August or September. And it was just so great to be able to move right up and feel appreciated here. And I've learned so much. Nope, got a little guest coming in. Sorry. But just being able to work with everyone has been so awesome. I'm so very grateful for ARO.
Right now, I see in front of me very, very strong people, very inspirational people. The way that some of you have spoken is just like warms my heart because it just sounds so sweet. And I come from a corporate environment where things are often very cutthroat. So I'm not used to hearing this tone of voice. So I'm very looking forward to hearing a lot more of that. In terms of 2021 as a whole, I've learned two very impactful things, and the definition of these things have rained so loud in my ears. It's a Punjabi concept. It's a Sikh concept, actually. It's called Nirbho and Nirvair. So without hate and without fear. So I've learned to lead with love. I keep saying that. I find myself continue to say that a lot towards the end of this year. Leading with love and leading without hate and leading with bravery. Nirvair means without fear. So I've tried a lot of things today. In this year, I tried, what was it? Artichoke pizza. I never thought I would, but I kept saying to myself, just without fear, just go for it, up until trying to find a brand new job that is something that I thought would be so out of reach. And I think I'm almost there. I think I almost have it. To controlling my anxiety. I've had 2 panic attacks in the middle of the night this year. They've come from nowhere, but I've been really good at coaching myself down and coaching myself back to sleep. So I'm really proud of that. So those 2 things, Nirbho and Nirvair.
I would say definitely over 2021, I learned a lot, both personally, professionally, at ARO and outside of it. And there's been a lot of things over the last year. I've had multiple jobs fall through. Life has just been kind of chaotic, and in general, just a lot of different things kind of falling through that were out of my control. So I think I've learned a little bit to go more with the flow of things, and a lot of the things that I was upset about at the time falling through have led to things that have been so much greater than that ever would have been. So I think that that's really kind of taught me throughout the year that if something doesn't work out, it just wasn't meant to be, and something better is on the way. So I've definitely learned to accept that a little bit more and come to terms with that. I think I've also definitely gotten better at acknowledging when I need to step back from things or can't take something on, and learning to speak up for myself in that regard, and finding whether it's friends or people in my life who are understanding of that has been a huge step for me, and kind of being able to say to someone, you know, I'm just not able to do this thing with you today, or to give you my all at this point. My cat is holding my hand. He just reached up and grabbed my hand.
He wants some time. He's got a lot to share as well.
Exactly.
or don't worry, I'll walk you through.
Yeah.
So I think that that's definitely been huge for me over this year, and even just throughout my year at ARO. I started pretty much the beginning of this year and have learned so much professionally. It's really brought me in a totally different direction, and coming from a very toxic work environment prior, I think it's really taught me that jobs don't have to be that way. You can keep searching for environments that are safe and kind, and people are understanding. And that's actually, even just in my regular job, led to me to search out jobs like that as well. So I've really come to appreciate that.
And I usually don't share things or any emotions. So this year I did that. I reached some saturations level in my emotions, some toxic friendship. So I started sharing with my other friends. So I think I did pretty good with at least sharing my feelings. And when I join ARO, I see all of you here. It's absolutely amazing that you all have come all this way here. You guys have so much going on in your life and still here. I mean, I absolutely, whenever I'm down, depressed, or have some silly issues, I just think of you all. I mean, it's inspirational for me. I mean, I just love to be here. Sometimes I don't have any updates. Most of the times I don't have any updates related to my admin corporate department. But I am here. I just feel so happy just looking at you all. Sometimes it's the Kim's voice is so meditating. I just love looking at her. Sometimes I just love to be here. I mean, maybe I am not putting my 1,000% of efforts in ARO, but the place I just wish to be here.
Being with ARO these past few months, I've definitely learned a lot. This year as a whole has been a lesson of, and I could say like the top 3 things would be shadow work, releasing fear, and embracing growth. So discovering ARO was exciting for me because of its overall purpose, and it aligned with what I was doing for myself. What I like about it particularly is it is teaching me to embrace my own story, to be open with sharing it, and just learning from you ladies and gentlemen, learning from you guys, just watching you as professionals, but knowing that, we have that passion, whether we've experienced abuse or we just have the passion to help others. Having the strength to still operate as professionals, to me, is admirable because I've struggled with that, and I didn't have the balance. So I'm learning that, and you guys are teaching me a lot, as far as that goes.
That being part of this organization teaches you that being part of a larger organization can be fun. You can provide your ideas and people actually listen and even sometimes implement. Yes, it can be done. Good ideas can be implemented. So, being part of large organizations my whole career, pretty much my whole life at that point, this has been really refreshing and awesome to give back to the larger organization and the community as a whole, and where your ideas, which sometimes are pretty decent, do get implemented. And so there is that future gain from everyone from it. So thank you for that. That's everything.
We make sure you get credit for them too. We make sure you get credit for your ideas.
Yes, that's right. That's
sure.
right. Yep,
Absolutely.
Exactly. It is a big deal for those of us who've been.
That's Kelly's pet peeve. That is her pet peeve.
Oh my gosh!
If you suggested, you own it. It's yours.
Yeah.
I hated that about corporate America.
Yeah, they steal your idea.
Yeah, exactly. They steal it and then they capitalize on it. So we make sure you get the credit and the gratitude and the recognition. So thank you so much, Valerie. I love that.
It's a year of change for me because moving to States is really unplanned, and quitting my full-time job, everything is unplanned. So yeah, it's year of change. And ARO, I can say, I'm basically a person who is far away from emotions, but here I see many people supporting each other, how they are handling emotions of others and how they are consoling. It's really, really amazing to see. And people who are in completely different time zone, right? Like Gauri, it is almost 10:30 over there, but still she's on the call. But for me, it is 10:30 p.m. I would be like chilling with my friends or watching some movies. But it really amazes me, people who are spending their hours voluntarily and being so selfless. That's really amazing.
What I've learned in 2021 is you are able to totally adapt to a different change, because there is something called, many corporates, many companies changed their work style to a work from home. So you are able to be more productive, manage time. You are able to also manage the housework, the office work, as well as be more productive as well. It's not because you don't travel, the travel is being reduced, but you're still able to be productive and manage. So you're being more disciplined, you're being more time management, you're being more productive, which is more beneficial both ways, even to ourselves as well as to the community as well. And also personally connecting that, I was able to spend more time with the family as well. So it's both ways. So I learned that. So how you can be more productive, manage time management, because we were just thinking like, okay, I need to go to the office and travel, manage, and come back, and then that was the only thing which was occupying. But now you're being at home, you have to like space on time for everything, and you have to be connected at the office work as well as at the house. So that, I think that's totally a different change, and we are able to adapt to that kind of a change. And another thing which I learned is like, there is something to look back, and this kind of a pandemic or some kind of a change always makes us to take a step back and think, like, you have to be patient, you have to be calm, and there is people around you, and there is more care and more kindness which we have to keep on imparting every day. And about ARO, everything, like the everyday, the team members, the culture, everything is a new learning. Yes, you work in corporate, that's totally a different thing. Yes, I also see this as a very organized form of a corporate, but a very beautiful culture. The culture which is over here, I've not seen it anywhere, and I love the team. And every team member, I'm learning every day. It's like I learn new things, and I think every day I want to be very much active and get a lot of new ideas with every member. So thanks to ARO, thanks to Kelly, Michael, and for the entire team members for this.
But it has meant a lot to me to watch how we've developed this environment, how we've stepped back and allowed leadership to do what they were born to do, is lead. And the environment in ARO is, if you don't know, ask, somebody will. It is not ours to know everything, but it is ours to have the people around us who do. That is our responsibility. And we give you the autonomy, we give you the authority, but more importantly, we give you the responsibility. I think all of you have heard me say this speech one time or another in ARO. We give that to you. That's a part of who you are with ARO. And that gives you the opportunity to take that whole concept of familiarity breeds content and contempt. It gives you the opportunity to make a choice that it does not have to breed contempt. It can breed just plain old contentment. Because we rely on you to be the best version of yourself. That's what we do. I mentioned this earlier, finding yourself, like all of you seem to have some modicum of understanding or some measure, some great measure, either modicum or great measure of self these days, means that you know who you are and where you are right now. And a lot of you are accepting it, a lot of you are fighting it. A lot of you are in pain. But it's okay, because pain is only something, I think, especially at the end of any year, pain is only something that goes away. Either you die or you heal. And that's normally up to you. And you ladies are true survivors. I've listened to your stories, most of you on a very interview kind of level, where we went into great depth into areas you did not want me to discuss. It takes a lot of courage to do that, ladies. I'm so proud of all of you and the many others in ARO who are not here on this call. Things that are done in front of us, behind the scenes, alongside of us, that we're all complementing one another's vision, one another's energies and synergies and understandings. And that's not a bad thing. You're having to build your family, build your business, build your new self, find your therapies. There's so many hierarchies occurring at the same time. And what you're learning to do is become omnidirectional in everything you do and get all those tentacles to start blending in and make sense. So all of these different areas are functioning for you. Keep that up.
I mean, I've learned a lot at ARO since I think I started with you guys in February last February. So I would say I've learned the value of
keeping your commitments even when it's hard. And I would say that as committed as I see people, you know, I guess the one thing that I hope, like for myself this coming year, and also for others that have like joined us on this journey, is that even when things get complicated or things get kind of heavy in life, I think there is a certain value or lesson to be learned in sticking with things that you've committed to. So I think for me, as most of you guys know, it's been a bit of a challenging couple of months. And, you know, I faltered there for a minute, and I was kind of, you know, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's the biggest lesson, is like there is that value that even when things are really hard and you think there are things that you can like cut back on in a sense, which you probably could, but should you, I guess, is the ultimate question. So that's the biggest lesson I've learned, is staying committed to the things we have, you know, said we'll do, and like keeping our word and the value of that. So that's the biggest lesson.
To close out, I just want to say a very heartfelt, immense gratitude for this year. I know that all of you have a lot of personal things going on that you've been up against. And I'll be honest, in this sense of ARO, it's not easy what we do. So many people come to ARO with one intention, to just give back, and the outcome becomes something totally different, something very personal, and it opens cans of worms to dialogues that you never thought in your lifetime you'd even be able to have without maybe, especially in a group setting like this, although it's virtual, being raw, emotional, crying on screen, it's hard. But I have watched all of you grow, to include myself, so much. Every day you all teach me something new about myself, or how to improve, or how to make ARO better. And I am always eager to learn what that idea, or maybe that thing is that you come up with that could be maybe what catapults us into the ethers and gets us known on the map. But we couldn't do it without you. And we've watched our growth exponentially increase over this last year. In 2022, I'll tell you, we have some pretty big plans in place for retention, growth, building out some of our departments, expanding our outreach, as we've discussed with you. We got a lot to look forward to. Thank you wholeheartedly for all that you've brought to the table. Thank you for always making ARO a priority, even though you've got families, full-time jobs, and everything else going on. You always make the time for ARO. And that fills my heart with more joy and gratitude than I can ever express to you.